Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're tackling one of the absolute most high-stakes challenges facing global businesses right now, navigating the incredibly complex and, let's be honest, often treacherous modern landscape of cross-border money flows. If you're involved in international trade, you already know that moving money from point A to point B isn't just about clicking send anymore. It requires some serious strategy. Okay, let's dive right into this. Right now, operating a global business kind of feels a lot like being out in a tiny ship just trying to navigate these incredibly rough seas. You've got lightning bolts of currency volatility literally crashing down around you. It's a survival game, and you're constantly battling geopolitical storms, sudden regulatory shifts, and wild currency swings. So, that brings us to the million-dollar question, right? How do you actually survive this geopolitical storm in cross-border finance? You really have to ask yourself this because the consequences of getting it wrong are severe. We're talking about unexpectedly blocked settlements, frozen funds, and massive compliance hurdles that can grind your entire international trade operation to an absolute halt overnight. The thing is, the old way of doing things is just failing businesses left and right. Imagine a worried merchant trying to decipher a completely chaotic map, relying on a blindfolded robot that's just blindly stamping paperwork. That perfectly captures the danger of relying on static, traditional agencies. They're essentially blind. They just fill out the forms you ask for without any strategic foresight whatsoever, leaving you to figure out the actual map of global finance entirely on your own.
Let's break down the stark contrast here between that traditional approach and a modern solution like Easypaid. Traditional agencies, they're reactive, piecemeal, and super opaque. You basically only find out there's a problem when a payment actually fails. Easypaid, on the other hand, operates completely differently. Their method is proactive. They identify risks early. It's end-to-end, meaning they handle the whole shebang, from your initial entity setup all the way to your annual review. And most importantly, it's transparent, giving you real-time clarity.
And this brilliantly illustrates a massive shift in philosophy. We're talking design first, action follows. Instead of a blind robot, you really need a wise architect with a clear blueprint. Before any action is taken, before any money is moved or an entity is even registered, strategy and structure have to be designed. You have to first understand the rules and how banks ensure secure payments before you lock in your operational structure. So, what is that magical blueprint in reality? Well, it's a process Easypaid calls the structure check. What this does is align your entity, your secretarial records, and your tax details into a single, cohesive bank-facing dossier. Why does this matter to you? Because creating this bank-ready operating profile dramatically shortens approval times and proactively de-risks your settlements way before you even initiate a single transaction. This whole proactive approach means engaging in strategic prejudgment. It's literally like taking a giant magnifying glass to the globe to spot compliance landmines. It allows you to see what everyone else is missing. By analyzing the global landscape beforehand, Easypaid actively identifies hidden compliance risks, whether they're regional sanctions, complex tax laws, or shifting banking regulations, before they blow up your transaction. And here's the best part. When you know exactly where those landmines are, you can actually redraw the map. This is dynamic routing. Instead of hitting a block settlement knot and having all your funds frozen, Easypaid neutrally and efficiently draws a glowing route right around the blockage. This ensures your money flows smoothly across borders, completely bypassing whatever geopolitical hurdles are in the way. Now, you might be wondering, is this all just guesswork? Absolutely not. No way. Easypaid relies on an extensive architecture library and some seriously complex tax mapping. They don't treat your business like a lab rat. They know exactly what works for different global corridors, ensuring your setup is based on proven, successful, and tested data. Let's move to how this builds over time. Because a solid financial architecture doesn't just solve today's problems. It scales right along with your company. Think of it like a magnificent multi-level tower built for structural resilience. As your company grows from a small startup into a massive global powerhouse, your financial structure needs to be able to support that weight without crumbling under the pressure of international scrutiny. We can actually break this journey down into 3 discrete levels. Level 1 is the startup phase, where the focus is strictly on fast, compliant entry into new markets. Then there's Level 2, expansion. This is where you build immunity and redundancy into your operations, so a single bank failure doesn't just stop your business dead in its tracks. And finally, Level 3 is strategic, where you have the structural resilience to handle high-level crisis intervention. Easypaid's architecture provides targeted end-to-end support at every single one of these stages.
So the crucial point is, this is what you're ultimately building. All of this preparation, the structure check, the dynamic routing, the scaling, it all leads to this ultimate goal: transforming your vulnerable operations into a fortified castle, surrounded by an impenetrable dynamic financial moat. Your business is protected, it's secure, and it's ready to withstand absolutely whatever geopolitical or economic shocks the world throws at it.
And, this entire philosophy comes straight from leadership. Let's reflect on the core mission from Stephen H. Britton, the CEO and founder of Easypaid. He says, "Our mission is to bridge the gap between traditional banking and modern, offering innovative and seamless financial services." By successfully integrating advanced technology with deep financial expertise, they are fundamentally revolutionizing how businesses approach cross-border finance. And the result of all that expertise, it's true peace of mind. Instead of tossing around in a tiny wooden ship in a massive thunderstorm, you're on a sleek, modern vessel sailing smoothly right into the sunrise, guided by clear digital data. You're successfully navigating the complex geopolitical chessboard, and you're doing it together with a partner who sees ahead and handles everything for you. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Are your cross-border operations a blind ship in the storm, or are they an impenetrable dynamic fortress? It really is time to take a hard look at your current financial architecture. Because in today's global market, hoping for the best is not a strategy. Building your financial moat is. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive.